Us lucky folk awoke this morning and discovered that a COVID-19 vaccine had been approved. It was Pfizer's vaccine, but I wanted to know who had approved it. With a little research, I discovered it was our regulatory board, the MHRA, which is an independent part of the UK government. I must admit I don't know much about them, so took it upon myself to have a little nosy around, and this is what I found out. What I discovered surprised me, although on reflection it really shouldn't have. I discovered that the MHRA, the UK's Health Regulatory Board, has received a hell of a lot of money and input from the Gates Foundation. Oh yes. In 2017, it received £980,000 from the Gates Foundation. In September 2009, it helped out with the research into vaccines in pregnant women. 2019 again, $360,000 for research in medicine in pregnant women. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many more, but I thought 3 was enough for you to get the message that this cannot be a good thing. Putting that aside, surely this vaccine has been thoroughly tested. It says the decision by the UK Regulatory Authority was made with advice from the Commission on Human Medicines, the government's independent expert scientific advisory body. Now, if Chris Whitty is anything to go by, then this is not worth the paper it's written on. A dedicated team of MHRA scientists and clinicians carried out a rigorous scientific and detailed review of all available data, starting in October 2020. This was done using a regulatory process known as a rolling review. A rolling review can be used to complete the assessment of a promising medicine or vaccine during a public health emergency in the shortest time possible. Now, that worried me. I'm not going to have the vaccine anyway, but the shortest time possible, what on earth could that be? Well, I found out exactly what that is. This is an article from the 18th of November, so a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little more. And it says the primary efficacy analysis demonstrates that the BNT162b2, that's the name of the vaccine, to be 95% effective against COVID-19 beginning 28 days after the first dose. 170 confirmed cases of COVID-19 were evaluated, with 162 observed in the placebo group versus 8 in the vaccine group. So I had to go over this again and again. I thought I'd misunderstood. But this vaccine is 95% effective out of 8 people who had the vaccine. That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I couldn't believe that. And I kept reading it because I thought I'd misunderstood. But I hadn't. 170 people, 162 had the placebo. Incredible. And they expect us to take this, queue up and, welcome this with open arms. There is no way they are going to get that vaccine anywhere near my arm. I couldn't understand that a vaccine that has been so rushed through, how it could have achieved a patent clearance. Well, you know me and patents. I had a look on the EPO and guess what? It's not there. I searched for COVID-19 GB, Great Britain, and one thing returned, and it was a patient care management system from Australia, which has actually been rolled out into Britain. But there was nothing from Pfizer, and that worried me. Couldn't work out how that could be. I learned something new today. I learned out that there's compulsory licensing, and that's what this vaccine has. It's the go-ahead from our government. Yes, that's right. Our government has said yes, you can have this rolled out to everybody. They hired a third party, which is BioNTech, Pfizer, whatever you want to call it. The disadvantage for the inventor not having a patent is that they waive their right to someone else copying it. But what it means to us is that we can't see what's in it. When they have patents on there for drugs, you click on the information and it tells you what they've put in it. However, I thought, well, there must be a list somewhere. They're expecting us to take it, there should be a list of ingredients. And no, I found this article and it says that the ingredients for the Pfizer vaccine that's been given the go-ahead in the UK there's no released list of ingredients. That's also worrying. So let's have a look at the scientists. There are two of them. Uyghur Sahin and Özlem Çüreki have dedicated their lives to the field of oncology and infectious diseases and spent years pioneering personalised immunotherapy treatments for cancer. But amid the coronavirus pandemic, the couple's groundbreaking research in the field of modified genetic code has capitulated them into the public eye as the brains behind the world's first effective coronavirus vaccine. Sahin, 55, and Çüreki, 53, set up BioNTech in the central German city of Mainz in 2008. On Monday, the company's partner, US pharmaceutical giant Pfizer, said their candidate vaccine was more than 90% effective in preventing infection in volunteers. It uses the never-before-approved technology called messenger RNA, or mRNA, to spark an immune response in people who are vaccinated. On a call with reporters on Tuesday, Sahin explained the significance of the news and sent a message of hope for the world. I think the good message for mankind is that we now understand that COVID-19 infections can be indeed prevented by a vaccine, he said. Speaking to CNN on Monday, Pfizer CEO's Albert Bourla called it the greatest medical advance in the last 100 years. While the vaccine is a huge step for the scientific community, Sahin and Çüreki are veterans in the world of medical achievements. The pair, both trained physicians, established their previous company, Ganymed Pharmaceuticals, in 2001 to work on developing cancer-fighting antibodies, eventually selling it for $1.4 billion in 2016. So let's have a look at what we've got. We have a vaccine that has been approved by a body of the UK government. This body is, well, I was going to say in bed with the Gates Foundation, but that's a bit crass, isn't it? Has been heavily funded by the Gates Foundation. The trials are pathetic. We learned that only 8 people actually had the coronavirus vaccine and only 95% of them it worked for. I can't believe those statistics. There's no list of ingredients, even though they expect us to have this, and the scientists behind this are cancer researchers. Oh, and there's no patent. This is awful. This is really awful, and I suspect the people who refuse it, like me, will have their freedoms curbed. I don't think we'll be allowed to do any recreational activities. I used to go dancing. I don't think I'll be able to do that anymore. I never went to the cinema anyway, but I think even going into shops is going to be an issue. The thing is, 54% of the population has to take this vaccine for it to be effective, if indeed it is a vaccine, which I have my doubts about. If less than 54% take it up, then it won't work. This is going to be very interesting the next few weeks to see how many people want this. But I know for one thing, it won't be coming anywhere near me. Now, don't take my word for any of this. You can go and look this up for yourselves. But it's well researched, and I'm very confident of the information I've given you. So, you're very brave if you take this vaccine. You're much braver than I am.